Writing strategy 2 is called depicting. This depicting strategy, it was new to me, but it's pretty simple and easy to understand, but I still thought it'd be effective for different writers and learners. I'm going to use it in the agriculture, horticulture content area for grade level 9 or freshman just because the depicting strategy is a little more easier to use and understand. The TEEPs cover horticultural plants and propagation, vegetable production and pruning techniques, and that goes into the made example I made and then some of the instructions for the use. So those are just the teaks. This depicting strategy is for the pre-writing stage of the writing process. It's used during the pre-writing stage because it allows for brainstorming for ideas and portrays ideas via sketching, depicting, which is where the name comes from. So via sketching, depicting, or drawing of the brainstorming ideas with or without words or labels. So to start it, instructions for the use. Following the TEKS tells students that at the end of the unit of horticultural plants, they're going to write a one-page informational report over management and production of horticultural plants, which goes over propagation, pruning, and the other things I mentioned. Explain to students that they can use a depicting strategy to come up with and brainstorm ideas for what they'll include in their reports. And like I said, this isn't the actual draft will be over the management and production of horticultural plants, but this actual depicting strategy is just a brainstorming and drawing of different ideas that they'll use in that draft or report. Give them the general topic of the report, which would be the management of horticultural plants, like I said, and tell them that instead of writing or listing ideas or doing the cluster thing, like from the strategy 1, that they're going to draw or sketch pictures that covers ideas or different concepts or how they understand the objectives that they have to cover over horticultural plant management and production. So basically tell them that they can draw and sketch and they can use or not use labeling words, but sketching depictions is going to be the main idea and the main goal of the strategy. So you need to instruct students to do that. Explain them that they can draw or depict something, and then that the idea is that once they draw one thing, that they'll start coming up with other ideas and from the original drawing and be able to draw them as well. And then in the end, they'll be able to use all these depictions and drawings as a container for writing ideas and points that they can put into that one-page informational report over management and production of horticultural plants. So basically, they're just like have a whole list. I'll show it in the example I have it on the computer. Have a whole paper of different depictions they did to help them with the ideas that they're going to use. Strength. I'll go over a couple strengths. Strength is that it's good for visual learners or with people with different learning styles because it's using pictures, not just words, so they won't get stumbled over words. Some people can aesthetically and visually see stuff better, so that's good strategy for them to use during and once again, this is in the pre-writing stage. And then strength from the article is that it said depicting leads to brainstorming for more sufficient ideas or overcoming communication breakdowns caused by their shortage of vocabulary. So that's kind of going what I was saying. They might not be able to verbally explain something or verbally write it, but they might can see it or picture it and be able to sketch those things. So this is just something that this like the student would do, but I actually drew it. I'm not the best artist, so kind of this was just giving you an idea of what it would look like. This would be depiction for depicting of management and production of horticultural plants. So these are sketches or things that lead to ideas that they could use in their report, covering the different objectives of pruning, production, and propagation of growing. In propagation, I drew a plant and then taking different parts from the plant into the new plants, did a drawing of that. And I use labels because that helps me see better. Students can use or not use labels depending on if they are able to understand and effectively explain their drawings through just the sketches themselves. And then fruit, nut, and veggie production, I did like the orange process of they're grown, they go on a truck, then they grow in grocery stores, and they can be used for juice or ate, stuff like that. And then the growth of a carrot, like day one with the roots all the way to the development of the whole carrot. And roots from it to day 75, just a depiction of the whole growth. And then I did a little, these are probably my worst drawings in my opinion, but hopefully a bunch of the students will be better artists than I am. So the pruning techniques, I did depictions over them, like uh, most effective methods of pruning, and then never leaving long parts of the plants remaining and improving. So I drew the pruning of leaving long parts and then put like an X or a line through it showing that don't do that, and then showing the proper dill. And then pruning technique sketch 2 is showing like the tree before pruning and then how the tree should look after pruning. So those are just depicting ideas and for the students to say, hey, I drew this, and then once I go into my drafting or writing stage, I'm going to go to my visual depiction container of ideas and say, like, allow this to spark the idea of, hey, propagation includes this, and I knew that because I drew it. So those are going to be just good strengths and instructions for the use of the strategy. And once again, this strategy is called depicting. I used it for the horticulture content area, and it's in the pre-writing stage of the writing process. Thanks.